that I get quite very often in almost every HNC consultation is that, is it the right time for me to apply for the HNC or should I wait for a bit more? Let's try to address this. I'm Niladri Mukherjee and I'm based out of Windsor, Ontario in Canada, and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. So humanitarian and compassionate grounds applications, as you would know, that it's a discretionary application, right? Which means that it is at the discretion of the immigration officials to either approve your application or disapprove your application. If that application is complete, if the package is complete, they will most likely process your application, but the acceptance by IRCC Vancouver does not really obviously guarantee either approval or disapproval of that application. So from my personal experience, because I deal with this kind of applications a lot and have been doing this for the last many years, and therefore I've seen the kind of evolved, how evolved this kind of particular landscape is. I think I'm in a position to break it down, this question, into two parts. One is the personal circumstance. Other, because this is a discretionary application, I would like to focus a lot on the immigration / political circumstance. So if you talk about the personal circumstance, okay, the law says that it is the last resort. Okay, so you should not think that this is just one of the PR pathways, meaning that if you come to Canada as an international student and nothing is working out for you as far as the PR is concerned, you then apply for an HNC. This may not be the most appropriate way for you if you're thinking from that perspective. But let's say if you are a vulnerable parent, if you are a vulnerable mother, or let's say if you have a criminal history because of which you are not able to apply for your permanent residency, but that criminal history may be because of something which was completely unavoidable. It's completely situational, but otherwise you are not eligible to apply for your permanent residency under any of the other streams because the criminality is a problem. Then in that case, if the criminality is not a serious criminality, you can then apply for your agency. Okay, so this is a last resort. So because this is a last resort, you should not think that this is just one of the PR pathways. If I boil down to the next set of assessment on that, is because exhaust all the applicable permanent residency options that you have on the table, and then you think if you qualify, apply for it, right? So in that process, you already have spent a lot of months, if not years, into this whole scheme of things, right? And I would imagine that your status in Canada has an expiry date, and the law says that you should be living inside Canada for the entire duration of your HNC application. The law also says that an HNC does not give you an automatic work permit or an automatic authorization to stay inside Canada. Because there are so many variables, and because for majority of the clients a lot of time has already been spent / wasted, how you want to put it, the timing is never too late if you think you actually qualify to apply for the HNC, because you cannot apply for the HNC if your status expires in 3 months. You cannot apply for HNC if your status expires in even 6 months or 9 months. You need to give yourself at least 1+ year because the processing time is usually quite long. So it's an expensive, it's a complicated, it's a time taking, it's a discretionary application. But as far as the timing is concerned, it is very, very situational, very, very personal. But if you think that you have a reasonable amount of time still left for your work permit or any other legal status that you have inside Canada, and you can give yourself about 1.5 years, then the timing is absolutely right if you qualify to apply for your HNC. That's from the timing and the personal situational perspective. The other thing that plays a direct impact on the whole timing issue is the current political / immigration situation. Okay, now let's say if you still have 1.5 years or even 2 years left on your work permit, but because this is a discretionary application, the future of this application is directly linked to the forthcoming political / economic / immigration landscape of this country. And if you're following the political situation, you already know that there will probably be a change in the government, likely in the month of April or May. And once that does, there will be a lot of policy changes specifically with respect to this kind of discretionary applications. If you look back and take a look at this, the previously held Stephen Harper government, that was there till 2015, you would see there was a lot of conservativeness were there when it comes to this kind of discretionary applications. Okay, HNC, TRP, ARC, refugee, even sponsorship, parents concurrent sponsorship, all those were more controlled. So based on my assessment of the forthcoming, if I have to predict the forthcoming political situation of Canada, I would imagine that the situation will probably not be better. I am nobody to comment that how exactly the situation will be. I don't know whether the situation will be worse, but I have no high hopes on the new government, the upcoming government, to have a drastic positive change on this kind of agency applications. But the files which are already there, which will be already there in the process, will still be in process. So if you were to predict it from the future political situation as well, probably this is probably the right time, because you do not want to delay it way too long, because if there is a change in government, all those things may have a positive, may have a negative impact. So marrying these two hopefully gives you a an understanding whether the situation or the current circumstance is the appropriate time for you or not. Again, one more time, this is not for everybody. This is highly discretionary application. This is a expensive, complicated, time-consuming application, and therefore, before you apply for such an application, please ensure to book a consultation with anybody that you like. I have been dealing with this kind of cases for a significant amount of time, and I have seen both the successes and the failures, and therefore in a position to at least holistically review the situation to be able to tell you how you should look at it from a realistic perspective. If you need your assistance, more than welcome to hop into our website nuvonation.ca, book a relevant professional consultation. I'll be happy to have a case specific discussion with you. Hope this helps. Bye now.